Okay, in example 6 here it says graph the solution set for the conjunction. A conjunction just means that I am looking for what makes both inequalities true. So a lot of times it's symbolized by the word and in the problem, as we see here, and sometimes it's like a big inequality that's written that has two inequality symbols. That's also a conjunction. But because we're looking for what makes both of them true, we're only going to graph the overlap. So I'm going to graph them separately, and where they lap over each other is going to be our solution. All right, so here we have x is greater than negative 2 and x is less than 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one graph here. I'm going to go ahead and label my infinities. And then I'm going to graph above and below this. Above it, I'm going to go ahead and graph the x is greater than negative 2. So what I would do here is I would find negative 2, pick a place, and know x is greater than. So up here above it, I'm going to show that I would shade going this direction. Now, also because there's no equal to, I know I would put a parenthesis right there at that negative 2. Then, below it there, I'm going to go ahead and graph the other inequality, the x is less than 1. So I would know I would go to 1, which now be careful because we got more than one number on here, so you got to make sure they're in numerical order, they're where they belong. And I would shade coming out of that 1, and I would go this direction, and there's no equal to on it, so there would be a parenthesis there. Now look, compare the two graphs. Where do they overlap? Well, if you notice, coming out of the 1, it goes that way, and coming out of the negative 2, it went that way. So their overlap is in between those two numbers. So I'm only going on this number line. This is my answer here. I'm going to shade the area in between them. At the negative 2, for looking above it, we had a parenthesis, so I'm going to put a parenthesis there. At the 1, looking below it, I also had a parenthesis, so I'm going to put my parenthesis there. So my solution set, this time, if you look for where you shaded, your shading doesn't start, if you look from left to right, your shading doesn't start till you get to that negative 2. So my solution set, I'm going to put negative 2, and notice the negative 2 had a parenthesis there, comma, my shading stopped here at the 1. So 1 is where it ends, and again, it had a parenthesis there. So my solution set is going to be from negative 2 to 1.